Hi and welcome to the Wow Embossing Powder new release hop. Today I will be playing with this beautiful rainbow and texture paste. I will be using the Catherine Pooler inspired powders, which are In the Park, Touch of Lemon and Cummerbund. And I will be using the Marion Emberson inspired Periwinkle and Candy Floss and Pinkish, which are both also inspired by Marion Emberson. And I think these colors, they make such an amazing rainbow. In this release, we also have the first stencils by Wow, and I will be using the Lotsadots stencil inspired by Marion Emberson with texture paste. I have already prepared one card background with texture paste and embossing powder and have just let it dry so I can show you the differences between heat embossing wet texture paste and dry texture paste. And to take you with me and to show you the whole process, I will be doing a second background in this video, and this will be the wet background which I will be heat embossing to show you differences. Since my paper is slightly bigger than my stencil, I am making sure that all bits and pieces of paper which shouldn't be covered with texture paste are covered with my purple tape. As soon as I'm sure that everything is taped down well, I can start to apply my texture paste. And I'm filling the whole stencil with my texture paste. I'm using the Schminke Leichtstrukturpaste. This is a German texture paste. And I think this technique should work with almost every texture paste you have on hand. And you should just give it a try, because in the end of the day, it's just paper and you won't lose a lot. And now to my rainbow. I'm starting with Touch of Lemon because this is the color which I'll have in the middle of my rainbow, and this makes it easier to eyeball the wide width of the colors in my rainbow. And you see me working pretty quick. I have even opened my jars before and have them opened on my desk, which is a thing that I usually try to avoid because I tend to flip the jars over and create big messes. But you want to add the embossing powder to the texture paste while the texture paste is still wet, and the embossing powder will stick to the paste. And I'm also trying to flip my paper kind of straight over so I don't spread the embossing powder on a too big surface, so that I just keep my stripes kind of separated, and yeah, that it's just easier to see all the different colors I'm adding. And as you see, it's pretty quick and easy to create a rainbow like this on a background. And now to the differences between heat embossing on a dry background and on a wet background, or dry texture paste and wet texture paste. When you are heat embossing the powder on wet texture paste, you will create some kind of bubbles because you are kind of cooking the texture paste. There is humidity in the paste, and you're going onto the paste with heat, and you get that to boil. It's a thing a lot of people like because it adds a lot of texture and dimension to backgrounds. Me personally, I prefer heat embossing on dry texture paste because I don't like to cook my texture paste. But as you see, you can create some funny, bubbly backgrounds which the dried texture paste won't be as much fun. You will see that in a minute. It also happened to me that I've been working slightly slower on my first background, so I had a lot of embossing powder coming off the background, so my dried embossing, my dry texture heat embossed background will be much more subtle. And that's not because there is any change in the colors, it's just because I wasn't quick enough when I've been adding my embossing powder to the texture paste in the first try. I will speed the heat setting up and come back at you in a second. And these are my two backgrounds. The one on the left is the one with the wet texture paste, and the one on the right side is the one with the dried texture paste before heat setting. And I think there are a lot more differences to see than just the saturation of color because I wasn't so quick with my first one. Of course, I had to create at least one card with my textured rainbow. I have decided to use my background with the wet texture paste and have been adding a Simon Says Stamp thank you die, which I've been shooting up with some graphite sparkles. And in addition to the thank you sentiment, I've been adding a Verity Biddlecombe thank you stamp. And as last final steps, I'm adding just one little heart sequin into the O of the U, which is just a nice little detail, I think. But I totally love things like this. And last but not least, at the top of the description box, you'll find the link to the next person in the lineup. I hope you take the time to watch all HOP videos because we love your comments and thumbs up. If you aren't already a subscriber, I hope you consider subscribing and click on the little bell so you won't miss any of my uploads. You can also use the Wow Embossing Powder hashtag to find all of the videos in this HOP in order to maximize your chances of winning. There is a $25 gift card. I hope you enjoyed and wish you a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye.